are you? Love and peace. This is Ray. Today I want to talk about a very important topic, and it's traps and tribulations. Traps and tribulations. I want to bring this straight to the point. I don't want to sweeten it or shorten it. I just want to get right to the point of traps and tribulations, which is this. Many of us, we're going to go through obstacles. We're going to go through moments of difficulties, of hardship, of stress. These things may seem like, well, you didn't do anything. All of a sudden, they just they either surface, and then a lot of times when they surface, they almost seem to mount up. It's like the domino effect, like boom, 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 one thing after the other. One thing we need to understand is that these are those moments of the deciding factor. That's what they are, deciding factors. So those kind of what we call negative circumstances and situations and events are deciding factors. Those are moments in time where a lot of times the universe is putting its hand forward and kind of putting us out there to either force us to do something, take an action in something that we've been putting off, or to help us become clear on what we need to become clear on. But they're deciding factors. They also allow us to choose, to really understand what choosing is. When you're going through a deciding factor, you're really, really, really going to be tested. Do you trust in what you learn? Do you trust in what you so-called believe? Are you truly a mirror reflection of your inner beliefs externally? Are you one of those who says, I believe, I'm this, I'm that, I shine my light, and I'm great at shining my light, and you want to be teaching and whatnot, but then as soon as a trial and tribulation comes up, okay, or a deciding factor, you're shaken by it, you're uncertain by it, you're not you kind of lose your faith, your faith fumbles, you start to think things in a way that you used to think before you understood or even studied this mindset. So these are the traps and tribulations. These are the deciding factors that we're talking about here today, that we're trying to enlighten you guys upon. The reason why these things are so important is because, let's face it, we've all been there. We've all been through some traps and tribulations. We've all had some complications, some difficulties. We've all been through the ringer, so to speak, and a lot of times those are things that are not pleasing to us. Well, of course they're not pleasing to us, because when we get too used to being in the flow and things always happening great, and then when we hit that bump in the road or trial and tribulations or a deciding factor in our lives, we kind of falter. We falter, and the reason why we falter the majority of the time is because we don't live it. Okay, people that don't live it usually falter a lot more than people that do live it. Because when you live it, it's a natural response. It's a natural reaction. It's your own defense mechanism. It's your own protection. It's your own body armor. When you're going through a situation where it's not pleasing to you and it makes you feel uncomfortable, and you have to make choices and deal with certain factors that you may don't want to, maybe you like, I don't want to deal with this right now. But you know what? A lot of times you have to deal with it. And that's how you know right there and then what kind of characteristical traits you have developed. What kind of mindset are you truly living? Because if you react in the old way of thinking, the way you used to, then you know you need to do some work on yourself. But you have to be open and honest about that, and that's okay. It's okay. And when you're open and honest, you're gonna grow faster. You're gonna move forward faster on your path compared to not knowing, compared to not being honest with yourself and open with yourself. And if you desire to grow, you're not gonna grow like that. You're just gonna continue to put yourself in a false mentality where you think that you're doing good. In reality, you're actually not, and it's not because of the circumstance, situations, events, but more of your way of thinking. You're blocking your own self from believing, from seeing what is stopping you, from seeing your own paradigm, your own block, because 99% of the time it's you. So these are the things we got to be able to understand, accept, acknowledge, see it for what it is, and then move forward, move past it. You have to develop that mindset. No matter how scary the situation, you have to develop that mindset, and excuse my language, of fuck it, let's do this. Let's do this right now. Not later, not next week. Let's deal with this right now. Because as soon as you deal with it, the sooner you can stop that vibrational frequency of absolute negativity. The sooner you stop that, you deal with it, the sooner you can get past that negative aspect, those negative current events or circumstance situations that you're currently experiencing, and the sooner you can snap into, I dealt with it, it's done, it is what it is, and then you can get back into changing your vibration or manipulating your vibration to a higher vibrational frequency, getting back onto the flow. Now here, let me clarify something. You could still go through that up and down situation or the trials and tribulations and still maintain the flow, your connection to source. That's something that you have to practice. And the way you do that is living it every day, believing it, absorbing it. Everything you read, everything you see on TV and whatnot, let it be the mindset. Watch movies that has to do with the mindset. Such movies as Lucy, that's a good movie, where the girl realized her mindset and how she frees herself from her mind, and all these things become possible. You know, there are movies that, there's one that Will Smith released where he's teaching his kid about the mindset and how to get past things and don't settle for anything less. There are tons of movies out there. The Secret, there's tons of movies out there. Documentaries about the mind and about this stuff that we're talking about here. There are tons of books. Let that be your food. Feed your mind a healthy diet, which is of the same substance that you are learning from what you're hearing here or what you've been following on your path. The things that you believe in, let that be your substance. If you fill your mind with negativity, then that's what your mind is going to be fed, and then you can't expect something wonderful to come out. You can't expect to have absolute faith. You won't, because it's got nothing but negative disbelief, limiting mindset. You want to go past that. It's like if you want to be in shape, feed your body right. Take care of your body, exercise it, take action. And it's the same thing with your mind. If you want to be good at this stuff, you have to feed your mind the right information, the right knowledge. It's books by Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Brian Tracy, Carnegie, Ford, things of Tesla, Edison. There's so many different people out there who have led the way before us. Okay, they left the footprints. You gotta find that, to get off your butt and go after this information. Study it, learn it, take what is good for you and throw away the mess. As Bruce Lee said, you got to be able to do that. This is how you enforce, you increase who and what you truly are. The more you become what you say you are, or what you desire to be, by living it and breathing it and absorbing the data, the information, the more and the quicker you're going to become that. That'll be your characteristical trait. That'll be your dominant mindset. And when it becomes your dominant mindset, you're going to be able to attract and manifest the desire in the life that you want. But that mindset must come first. You can continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to study as you're moving forward, and bit by bit, you see more victory. Your faith will grow because you're taking that action along with the alignment of your internal desire to accomplish or manifest whatever it is you choose to accomplish. But listen to me, you really must be on point with this stuff. You got to. It's not going to happen if you're doing it half-ass. It's not. I know we wish it's easier, but it's not, because the battle is not outside of you. The battle is within yourself, your disbelief, your limiting mindset, the paradigms, which are a multiple of habits, as Bob Proctor states. You gotta change the mindset so that the new you can come forth. And as the new you come forth, everything that comes with it, internally and externally, it will be a byproduct of the new way of thinking. This is how it works. This is the reality of all things. You can't lie or cheat yourself about this. trying to cheat it's kind of like trying to cheat yourself to being thin by having pills and having operations. You're just kidding yourself. You got to eat right, you got to exercise, and you got to be mindful of your health mentality. And that takes practice, that takes knowledge, that takes application of what you're studying. And then when you find what works for you, keep doing that. Educate yourself in that way of thinking, you know? So if you find that your body gets into shape doing a certain type of yoga, then study that. Study as much as you can about that, you know, and be great at that. And that's how you maintain your wisdom, the knowledge, and your mind. You're feeding your mind. So you're not only taking care of the body, you're not just eating, but you're also feeding the mind. The mind knows what to do. And whenever you start doubting something, maybe you're not losing the weight like you should be, your mind will have the knowledge of, hey, I'm not gonna just lose weight in my stomach. That's why I don't see my stomach going away right away. So I have to be patient and calm, because I'm losing weight throughout my entire body. So I'm shrinking equally throughout my entire body. And as long as I'm persistent and consistent, it will happen. I will get to where I need to get to. It would happen. And when you understand, and you have that knowledge, you can just continue to do what you need to do to take care of yourself, to work out. But the key factor is to maintain, to feed your mind, to align your internal intent with your external action. You got to be able to do that, okay? When you do all of this and you go through your trials and tribulations, you got a greater chance of conquering those trials and tribulations. You have a greater chance of continuing to make the choices that you need at a humble, most loving, most at peace mindset. Okay, so even though the outside will be disturbing, internally you will be at peace. And that's when you can see all the options, all the possibilities, and have all the unlimited faith to bring to you the results that you so desire. And you got to keep that mindset, because a lot of times when you're in the mix, I call it in the mix, when you're going through the trials and tribulations, you're just seeing what's happening, and the feeling of it may not be pleasing, and then you're freaking out and worried and stressed. That's not where you want to be. You want to be by being in the mindset, being in the flow, and keeping the humbleness, the humility, keeping the calmness, the peace, and then dealing with the situation in that manner with an open mindset, and knowing that, okay, this is a storm like any other storm, and it shall pass. What is it that I need to learn from the circumstance situation that's going to benefit me? What is the byproduct or the benefit or the joy or the glory of the thing that I'm going to receive from this circumstance situation? When you start asking those questions as you're going through the situation, rather than like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, I can't believe this, I can't believe that, and then getting angry and mad, which causes you to start stress and worry, which causes limiting mindset, which is like the Neanderthal mindset, which is you're not thinking. You're not being rational. All you are is being emotional. And when you're just being all emotional is when you overreact, and a situation that could have easily been resolved can no longer be resolved, or you made it worse. These are the things we need to understand. These are the things that we need to apply in our lives if we want to be successful. Most people, they probably watch these videos. If I was to tell you my stories, my food stories that I don't go into, you would understand where I'm coming from. I'm telling you, I'm not telling you anything that I haven't been through or going through. And it's the way I respond to the situation that allows me to find that peace, that allows me to continue to raise my vibration and to move forward. Does that mean that I'm better than anybody? It does not. It just means that I have a little bit more of a unique way of viewing things that allows me a better chance to succeed at the desires and wants that I want in my life. That's what that means. We're all the same. We're all brothers and sisters in this world. We're all part of the whole. And this is what we need to understand. The other thing too that I like to add, and I've stated this before and I state it again, and I'll finish up this video, is that we cannot succeed alone. only the fool or the limited mindset will think that we can succeed alone. You see, when we came into this world, the universe, God, source, desired to keep us safe. He created the family structure. He created the mastermind group. We see this in many religions. A lot of people tell you that you have to be alone. You are never alone. And what you may see as alone in the physical, it's still but an illusion. Because you're always going to have your angels, you're always going to have your guides, you're always going to have your loved ones who have passed, you're always going to have God, source, universe who are there. And if you keep adding and realizing how much that is, you're not alone. You're not alone. But even with that information, if you're not allowing them to work with you and help you, if you're not utilizing all these amazing assets to your advantage to continue to grow and to be better, not just for you, but for the world, then you're lacking, okay? Surround yourself with like-minded individuals, not those that will judge you, but those that will lift you up. Those that have no fear in telling you when you're doing something incorrectly, and they say, hey, you're messing up. You're screwing up. What are you going to do about it? I just figured I'd let you know that. And, you want these people to be straight out. But if you have a friend or a group of people around you and say, oh, no, you're wonderful, you're great, I love how no, you're misunderstood, it's okay, people don't understand you. Yeah, maybe you're running around, doing things you shouldn't be doing, and people are like, oh, you're okay, and everybody tells you the same thing. What happens is they actually do more harm than good. Instead of moving forward, you move backwards. Instead of expanding, you contract. Okay? You go into a shell. And you end up building an illusion within an illusion. And that just leaves you in a really bad spot, because those people will eventually go, and you will eventually find your way. But when you finally wake up from that crazy nightmare, you may find that you are not as far ahead of the game as you thought you were. And you may find out a lot that those people that you thought were really had the best intentions for you, they didn't have the best intention, and now you're stuck in a rut, and probably years have passed, or even if it's a month or a week, it's a waste of time. You can't get back time. So this is why you have to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who want to move forward, who want to grow, who are open to positive reinforcement, and who are open to people saying, hey, you need to check yourself. This is what's going on. This is what I'm noticing. And you look at that with an open mind. And then you look at all the situations. You go within first. You look at that. You look at the situation, and then you can go from there to make the best choice, whether it's true or not. Because a lot of times it's not going to be true. You have to be cautious in that too. There's always a lot of judgment of people. That's why the best people is to surround yourself of like-minded people. Okay? And if I'm not going to get information that I'm looking for from a person that I truly trust, to be honest, and come to me from a third-party perspective, they're not letting their emotions get to them. If I can't get advice from someone like that, then I would just go and meditate within myself. What I have learned to implement the most, and what I've learned to do now more than anything, is to go and meditate. And I have a mastermind group. What I do is I call upon the highest divine aspect of all the people, angels, guides, people that have come before me, like Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, and these individuals. And I call upon the highest divine, purest divine aspect of them, so that I can get information from them. And I'll ask them specific questions, and I'll speak to them and talk to them. And I'll do that. And the interesting thing that what has been occurring is that I actually get information. I actually get answers. And whether it's truly their essence, spirit, so whatever you want to call it, or whether it's just a part of my subconscious mind that reflects their character, or that part of them that I respect, whether it's my subconscious mind taking the form of that person, doesn't really matter. First of all, protect yourself when you're doing these things. Pray to God, pray to angels, whatnot, to put a protection over you, and then call upon the highest divine and say only the highest divine aspect of Napoleon Hill is allowed to be here. all other negative outside, you know, evil entities or negative energies, I rebuke you and I cast you out. And you ask your angels, your guides, to protect you and put a shield over you. And then you can go ahead and start talking to them and ask them the question in different manners and learn to feel when they give you the answer, because that's why sometimes you're not going to hear them, sometimes you're not going to see them, but you will always feel when you did it right, when you asked that question right, and you will get that confirmation, that feeling of, yeah, I got the answer already. And then make a conscious decision and say, you know what, and be grateful to them. Say, I'm grateful to my guides and my angels for providing me the information that I already have now, and it is so. And just choose to believe it. That's the power of choice. And a lot of times when you do that, when you utilize that technique, you may get the answer right away. It may be a couple of days, or maybe a week or a month later, but you will get the answer. So these are the things that I wanted to put out there. So we spoke about the trials and tribulations, the deciding factors. We talked about some of the techniques of what we can do to not let them to affect us. We talked about some of the things that we can do to help train ourselves and to become more aware of what we need to do to become better at whenever we're facing a trial and tribulation, which is to basically, what do you call it? Sorry about that, traffic. To basically living it so that we can always be it, and there is no separation. See, this stuff should be no separation. The way your body and your mind, your heart, your lungs, and your brain, and all that, the blood cells and all that stuff, all that stuff is when it's connected to your air, and you need the air. Without that air, the rest should just be done. So all of that's part of the whole, the big whole of who and what you are. So you have to live this stuff like it is you, like it's your breath, it's your heart. It's gotta be all nothing. You gotta be it. There should be no separation. When they talk about the universal laws, oh, that's my nickname because I am that. When they talk about Raymond, oh yeah, that is me. I am that, and I am the universal law. There should be no separation. It should be just a continuous, endless flow of vibrational perfect harmony between you and source. And that's how you get to where you want to go. That's how you raise your vibration. Other people, they don't do it that way because they want to do this stuff on a Sunday, and the rest of the week they want to go and do the other thing and think that, you know, they don't have to do it that way and they're still going to grow. That's up for debate. But in order to be successful for this stuff, to truly be successful, to really see some changes mentally, physically, and spiritually, and to have the connections that you seek to have with God, source, universe, and your higher, true, divine self, you have to live it. There is no ifs, no buts. Any other way, you're joking yourself. Because when you look at the proof of the pudding is this, right? Look at the people that came before us. They lived it. That's all they did. They lived it. They talked it. They breathed it. That's all they did. And that's why we follow them. The Jesus, the Gandhis, the Buddhas. They came before us. They lived it. That's why they were successful at it. That's why we're trying to be like that. But you have to look at how to do it. Does that mean that you can't be married? Does that mean that you can't have a family and a life like that? No, that's a misconception. What I'm saying is that you got to live it like you're doing your job. You got to do it like you're doing your job. That's because it is a job. Make it your job. Make it like you're living and you're teaching others, because you know what? You are. Because you're always student and you're always teacher. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please, jot them down on a post here. Send me out an email to universaluinterpretation@gmail.com. As always, this is Ray. Love and peace.